So today we're going over Super Smash Bros. New roster leak. Howard the Duck movie, is it coming? Maybe, we'll see. We're also going over Silent Hill and Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. What's up, everybody, and welcome to TotallyAFan, the show where I, a total fan, come to you and I bring you news in movies, TV, games, shows, everything involving the world of fandom, and I bring that information to you. Now today, as always, and I kind of realized this is a special episode, as every episode is special, but we're actually filming not at my house, but at Jesse's house. That's right, Jesse is hosting this party today, and obviously he's going to be in this week's episode to my left, and then to my right, Mr. Tommy Riggins. He's back again for this week. And our special cameraman, Mr. Leo, he's back. That's him right there with his, what is that pattern called? Flannel?
That flannel.
That flannel. Back with that flannel. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So there's been, I guess it was a leaked picture of Super Smash Bros. Supposedly it's got a couple, was it like 6 people for the roster? I think on the picture, or that they're gonna offer DLC, and I have the list here. So, as part of the roster, and I don't know if they're already unlocked or whatever, but as part of the roster, we got Baby Bowser, Dr. Mario, and Duck Hunter, which is the dog with the duck. I think it's gonna be kind of like an Ice Climbers type of pair. And then supposedly the DLC is Wolf from Star Fox, Chorus Men, Ice Climbers, and Snake. Right now, this is a leaked picture, but we don't know if it's legit or not, so please take this with a grain of salt. Could be rumors. We kind of doubt that it's legit, but it is kind of interesting because Duck Hunters, why not, right? So, Jesse, what are your thoughts?
I just have a gut feeling that it's fake. I don't know. I looked at it and I saw it and I'm like, there's been so many other fake ones. I can't really trust it. Like, there's the one thing about it that kind of would make it real is the fact that no one can find any of the pictures that whoever made this used. Normally, you know, if I want to fake a screenshot, I'll just go to Google, type in Dr. Mario render, boom, I'll stick it on there, and you can find that in 2 seconds. No one can find the Bowser Jr. render, the Duck Hunt render. Some of them look kind of like they could have been photoshopped, but that's the one thing that is really kind of making it real. But there's 100 different things that it could be fake, but those are kind of little minuscule ones. Like if you look at the Wario icon, his eye's missing, and like the Game & Watch icon doesn't really look like Game & Watch, and I think the Shulk one from Xenoblade Chronicles is in there. That actually looks like Little Mac, a screenshot of Little Mac, and they just painted his hair a different color. So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind if it's real. Like, that's cool to play as the Duck Hunt dog, which I think would be the greatest character ever. He's Fox tier at this point. But just in my gut, it feels fake. But if it's real, that's cool. I don't care. It's awesome.
You know, with what you just said, you know, we all of us, Leo included, we all come from an art type of background. What are your thoughts that it could have been 3D modeled?
It's possible. There was another leak. I'm trying to remember what was the name of the koala. What's the character from Sega? There was a Sega, like the koala.
Oh, like
Klonola or something. I didn't play that game, but someone did a fake leak of the screenshot and added that character. But then a week later, I think it was on DeviantArt, the creator said, "Yeah, I made this for fun." So haha. So it's definitely possible that someone could have just modeled it, or you can draw it just, you know, in a flat and then just copy the shading. It's been done before.
All right, Tom, what about you? What are your thoughts on is this legit? Is this fake? What about the 3D render? Maybe that's legit.
I also want to say it's fake. It's like, I don't see how the Duck Hunter would actually play. I don't know, maybe
He
I'm
just laughs at you.
Oh, yeah, great.
He will sit there and laugh at you, and you will just rage quit. That's how you win.
Best Final Smash NA, right? But the one thing that gets me about the Duck Hunter, though, is the model, or in the picture, like with the Duck Hunter selected, the model looks kind of off. Like, it looks more clay textured. And normally they kind of stylize all of them. And I don't know, I just don't see any of that adding up. And the whole Xenoblade characters also just don't seem to work.
What's funny is with that character, Shulk.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought the character reminded me of a little bit of Street Fighter, because when you see the character select, you see like all the paintbrush brushings or whatever. I thought it was from Street Fighter. I had no idea who Shulk was, so I've been informed.
He looked like Roxas to me from a distance for some reason.
Roxas, yeah, that could have been another one too. And actually, Leo, our cameraman, what are your thoughts on the picture?
I think it's definitely fake. And also the DLCs, I think you got the information wrong. They were just. You looking at me?
Yeah. I guess I could look at the camera, but you're right behind the camera.
They were just
That's going in there, by the way. That's not being edited.
There are no cuts.
There are
by
no
the
cuts.
way.
Unedited.
They were just making some speculations as to where the characters were going to go, the ones that were cut out of Brawl, but that wasn't something that they said. Okay, well this is going to happen. But then again, you said the chorusman was supposed to be there, and that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it said it in the article, but that's not right.
I don't know where the original source came from. I think it was 4chan.
Yeah, it
or,
was.
NeoGAF or wherever these leaks come from. But the poster just said, "Oh, by the way, guys, this is DLC." I think it's. You don't cut Ice Climbers and put in Dr. Mario. You just don't do that.
No, because it's a freaking
it's Ice
Mario
Climbers,
copy.
Dr. Mario. So I just my gut. It's
For Brawl, wasn't Dr. Mario like an alternate costume?
Nope.
No.
he was cut completely.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a clone character. You don't really need another Mario
Well, I
character.
guess.
They pretty much cut all the clones in Brawl except for Toon Link and Wolf and.
Falco.
I remember reading something a while ago where supposedly there were a lot of characters that I guess their files and stuff like that were technically saved in the game, but I guess they were never given their
Dr.
render.
Mario's file was in Brawl, and so was Mewtwo's.
Yeah.
And a few others. Can't remember. I think Roy's is also in there too.
I think that's when they started development on Brawl. They ported over a lot of the assets from Melee, and they were just left over. I don't think, because it's literally just, like there's no textures, there's no models of it. I think it's just a game file, so I think they ported over the information and just left it in there. I don't know how far they got planning-wise, but in the new Smash Brothers, they've said before that they planned all these characters from the start. It's not like they added anyone in.
Like DDD was supposed to be in the original one.
Yeah,
And so was
there's-
Mewtwo.
yeah.
So.
You know what I just realized? So in the game you can collect trophies. I think in Brawl, Duck Hunt was a trophy. They could have easily photoshopped that render out. So okay, yeah, definitely that kind of adds more to it being fake.
It's been about 3 days and no one has found any render evidence. So usually the internet, being the sleuths that they are, kind of grab on that immediately and try to find any source. And so far nothing has been found. So it could be real.
4chan is like the biggest community of talented trolls out there.
Yeah, no joke. All right, so before we go on, they said that I've been hearing and reading that they plan on launch day they're going to release a bunch of new character or a bunch of additional characters that they haven't already released yet. I think we're supposed to get one or two more before release date, like now until then. But having played all of them, are there any particular characters that you guys are looking forward to, or a character that they haven't mentioned that you want to see in there that you definitely would like to play with? We'll start with you, Tom.
All right. The ones I've always been fond of would be the Fire Emblem characters. I really want to see Lyn as a playable character, but outside of that, I'm definitely looking forward to playing as Lucina, Ike again, and good old Marth. So.
Fighting for your friends.
You know it.
That's what we do. We fight for our friends. All right, Jess, what about you?
In every iteration of Smash, there was always some kind of quirky, random, 8-bit character. In Melee, there was Ice Climbers, Brawl, there was Rob. So I think the Duck Hunt dog definitely fits with that, and I think that would just be,
Well, what about Pac-Man?
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man's already feeling like
No one
character
cares
here.
about Pac-Man. Pac-Man was a shoo-in as soon as they announced that Namco was developing it.
Right.
So, no one was expecting Pac-Man. You don't expect the Duck Hunt dog. So, that would be pretty cool.
So what hasn't Pac-Man been in as a way?
Me personally, I definitely want to see all the characters, all of them from every Smash in this game. In addition to any new characters, there's not really none that I can think of that come straight up to mind who's not already in the game.
I want to see Naruto.
Goku.
Goku.
Goku versus Superman.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We can finally dish it out on Smash. But for me, my biggest thing is I want them all there. What about you, Leo?
I'm just waiting for Snake to come back. I don't care.
Snake.
Snake for life.
Honestly.
Alright, so next, Howard the Duck. Now, I think it's been quite a while since the release of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If you guys haven't already seen the end credits scene, then I apologize, but spoiler alert.
Jeez, Victor, thanks.
At the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy, we see the Collector and Cosmo, the dog, who's actually pretty big in the comics. For those of you who don't know what that dog actually is, he's big in the comics. They're just kind of hanging out in the aftermath of their place getting blown up, and then all of a sudden you see this character come up and ask, "Why you gotta let him lick you like that?" Now those aren't the correct exact words, but that character is Howard the Duck. Now, a lot of people have been speculating that, oh, they're going to make a new Howard the Duck movie just because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. When it's funny because in fact, or in actuality, the director, James Gunn, kind of wanted to do something epic for the ending, and they were trying to think of something super ridiculous, and they thought of Howard the Duck. Why not? So he goes to Kevin Feige, he tells him, like, hey, we should have Howard the Duck at the end. Kevin was totally down for it, and they did it. Now, There aren't going to make any movies of it. The movie that came out years ago by George Lucas, that one was actually pretty terrible.
I liked it.
I mean, I liked it in its time, but nowadays I don't know how I feel about it. But
Had a little dinosaurs feel.
but they're not going to remake it. At least maybe not yet. One of the reasons for having them at the end credits was because they're getting ready to release a hardcover edition of his old comic books. I believe, and I've read it somewhere that they may be doing some new artwork for some of the comics, kind of revamping it. I don't know about that just yet, but that's part of the reason why they had him at the end credits. Now, if he gets enough people behind him, Marvel now being able to print out their money, do whatever they want with their characters because Guardians did so well, it's definitely possible. And James Gunn and Feige even said that it's possible we can get a Howard movie, but probably not for like another 4 years, maybe after Phase 5. Or something
Phase
like
10.
That. Or Phase 10.
Phase 32.
Yeah. So, Tom, let's go to you first. What are your thoughts on a possible making of a Howard the Duck movie?
It'd be interesting to see where they take it. I'm not too familiar with the character, but I do remember that old movie, and it was interesting, I guess.
Well, Jess, what about you? You're the one who loves the movie. I'm still kind of iffy about it. What are your thoughts?
I like the movie. That and the Super Mario Brothers movie, I just like. So
Agreed. Actually,
I don't know. Those are my two movies that everyone else hates, but I secretly like. Like I go
like
into
them.
my bedroom with all my blankies, and I just like, oh yeah.
I like
So-
Super Mario movie.
yeah, I like it.
I'll take all.
But Howard the Duck, I just like you got to give him credit. He was the first Marvel property to get a movie. So
Second.
second. Who was the first?
He was.
I'm not really sure what this first one
You
was.
lie.
I know it was the second
No,
one.
he
Howard
was
the
the
Duck.
second. In the
He's definitely
article,
second.
It was Howard the Duck.
in
Alright,
the
yeah.
article we read, it said Howard
Name
was second.
it. Who was the first?
I can't remember.
Who?
I can Google it, but I can't
Feature
remember.
film.
Stan Lee.
Feature film.
Stanley the movie.
Not a serial. A feature film. It is Howard the Duck.
I'll find out for you, and I'll tell you.
And
now.
all the other Marvel movies came after Howard the Duck. He started it.
All right. I'll figure it out and I'll tell you afterwards.
But
well,
the point that I was trying to make is that I don't feel like it's gonna make another movie. I don't think the world is ready for another Howard the Duck movie.
It's just
Never
too much.
be ready
It's just
for
too
Howard
much.
Too much
Duck.
good.
But I think the character is popular enough, has this cult following, where you could maybe do like a Marvel one shot with him to maybe figure out how he ended up in the collector's room,
Yeah.
or maybe in Guardians 2 have him a 2-minute scene. But I don't think beyond that. I don't really think he's getting.
I think that's what they were talking about actually. That they might even try to add him more into
Because
the new ones.
it was just for fun. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's a preview for the new." No, it was literally just they wanted to have fun. They wanted to give you a laugh. The shout out to those cult fans. But other than that, nothing is planned until Phase 10, 9, whatever.
Phase 76.
But
okay, so right now, the hardcover of his comics are going to be it's going to be his 39 issues that he's done. I think his first 4 issues were other stories, and then he had his own run. But he was also appeared in Civil War, Marvel Zombies, and Secret Invasion, and those are just a few that he's been in.
he's my favorite character in Lego Marvel.
The Super Mario
would
movie,
be.
I actually want to touch on that real quick. I love the Super Mario movie. The only thing I didn't really like was Koopa. I like the character, or not the character, the actor, but kind of where they went with it, it kind of, it wasn't what I wish more. And same thing with Yoshi. Yoshi was there for like a little bit. I kind of wish
What
Yoshi
do you
was there.
expect a green dinosaur to look like?
Green. He's yellow in the movie.
So what?
Well,
He's also a
technically,
raptor.
no, technically, and he's a Velociraptor. That's true. Technically, there is a yellow Yoshi in the game. I guess.
doesn't matter.
But it would have been better if he was green.
You found out their last names in that
Yeah.
movie.
So
Mario.
Luigi Mario.
I think the real question here, though, is do you trust the fungus?
You trust the fungus, oh yeah. Like I said, and like Leo said, actually, that was actually a really good point, was that they were looking to maybe have him featured a little bit more in the next Guardians and maybe in another Marvel movie. But Jesse also brought up a point of a one-shot movie. That actually would be pretty cool, you know, him have his own little segment. That would actually be pretty dope. Next on the docket, we have Silent Hill. So last week, we gave a hat tip to Mr. Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead for landing that role. But thanks to popular demand from these guys, we actually wanted to give it a whole segment because now we have more information about it. So first off, we're going to start with Jesse. But basically, Hideo Kojima says that he's behind this project. It's going to be in his studio, and Guillermo del Toro is going to be directing the game. So what are your takes on that bit of news? And is there anything else that you've heard?
I was more of a Resident Evil player. I played one because they came out around the same time. I played I think the first 3 Silent Hills, but I was more into Resident Evil, and it kind of sucks that Resident Evil is slowly dying. It's being plunged. Capcom is just plunging its giant financial knife into its heart. And so it's cool to see Silent Hill kind of rise from that just death pool that is Resident Evil. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of game they could do, because I miss those games that have just the legitimate like spooky, creepy atmosphere instead of just like, oh, there's a monster, boo, So I'm excited to play that.
I said it on last week that this the one game I will not play, one by myself, number 2 in the dark, and I can't remember what was the third one, but that game, it just freaking gives me, like, it scares the crud out of me. I really cannot play more than like 5 minutes. I freak out. With that said, we have Guillermo del Toro, who actually has, he worked on a game before, directing the game before, but I believe what happened was that the producers of the game and the company itself, they didn't feel like they had a good product, so they didn't back it up. So that movie, that game, I'm thinking movies because he's done Pacific Rim and everything else. But because they didn't back up that game was never released. But apparently he wants to do this, and I do believe him being a movie director, I definitely think he can bring that horror element and like Jesse said, bring the game from like the ashes of Resident Evil's fail. So what do you think about what's going on now with the game? Now that we have more information than just Norman Reedus being the key guy.
I think it definitely looks interesting, and I'm actually very excited to play it. But my experience with Silent Hill is also fairly limited. It's like I've played most of them, but I've never actually really beaten any of them. I've also been more in Resident Evil like Jesse, but I think this is definitely the chance for Silent Hill to become in the forefront and all that.
I think with me being afraid of the game, I'll probably be even more afraid of the game, so I probably won't even play this one either. But we'll see. I'll definitely, I kind of, with all this information coming out, I kind of want to try to play it, maybe find an emulator for it. I kind of want to give it a shot. We'll see. Leo, what about you? I know we used to play a bunch of scary games like Fatal Frame, and I know you're the horror guy. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm actually extremely excited about this, only because this is... I've always wanted to see Hideo Kojima do a different game besides Metal Gear Solid, and they're using the Fox engine almost at its peak. Have you guys seen the PT teaser, the playable teaser? Yes.
For Silent Hill?
Yes.
No.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I didn't know that was released. If it's released, I'm gonna go check it out now. But
It's free on the PlayStation 4 store. It's called Silent Hills PT, which is a playable teaser, which is basically when you go into a house and you're walking around the house, around the halls, and it's normal at first, and it slowly becomes like worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's just a big puzzle in itself. Apparently, a lot of people can't figure out how to solve the last puzzle, and you basically have to be a conspiracy theorist to figure it out, because there are a lot of different clues, a lot of different languages, a lot of different numbers you need to scramble to figure out the ending, and which is really cool. That's friggin' Hideo Kojima all over. and I love it. You know,
that was actually something that I also read was that Hideo wanted to dip his hands into something else other than Metal Gear.
He's still been working on that for forever.
Yeah, so that actually and the Fox engine, I completely forgot about the Fox engine being an aspect now for this game.
I have been following that Fox engine since the freaking dawn of that goddamn thing.
Leo's a big fan of Metal Gear. He's gonna be my Metal Gear correspondent whenever I need it. So I forgot about that element. So I really think that's gonna bring a new something new to this game. And I mean, we're in next gen now. I definitely think it's appropriate that we're getting something this awesome. We're getting a really good scary video game. We're getting everything revamped and stuff like that. I can only expect good to come out of this. So as always with everything, as we get more information, we'll talk about it. We'll bring it to you guys. I post it on Facebook or Twitter all the time. So we'll
Can I do a quick shout out?
Quick shout out. Jesse wants to give a hat tip. Hashtag hat tip.
Hat tip. While you're waiting for Silent Hill to come out, go play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh God.
And wear a diaper.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay.
Maybe I should actually do a stream of that.
Maybe.
You
Leo.
told me to, so.
Leo
I think you
from he's actually has his own channel, Lionhead Games, where he does Let's Plays. So there you
I
go.
want to pee myself.
Next
I don't
game.
want to pee myself.
Make sure you wear a diaper. So there you go, guys. Hat tip from Jesse. Major hashtag hat tip to, was it Five Nights at
Five
Freddy's?
Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a new, well, it's kind of like a spin-off book that J.K. Rowling did. She did a bunch of these books that are kind of like, oh, if these books were in the real world, these are what these books are. She has the Quidditch history. She's got Fantastic Beasts. I think she's even got a couple potion books and stuff like that that she wrote for the game, for the world of Harry Potter. And so now they're going to make a movie. That's kind of old news. You guys already knew that. What you guys don't know is that they're actually going to plan to make a trilogy out of the book. They're going to give it more story. They're going to pump a bunch of stuff into it. And something that's great is that David Yates, the guy who worked on the last four, including Deathly Hallows 1 and 2, Order of the Phoenix, and then the Half-Blood Prince, he's actually going to be the one directing these three Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find. Personally, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. If you guys have been following me on Twitter, I've been posting a lot of Hufflepuff Pride stuff all over. Badger Pride till I die, man. That's all I gotta say about that. Anyways, for you guys, what are your guys' thoughts on this little spin-off book actually having its own world now? We're gonna start with Jesse first.
First of all, Gryffindor for life. Second, I'm not really into Harry Potter.
Okay, well.
I saw all the movies. They're cool. I mean, I'm not really big into the fandom. The one thing I will say is it's cool that they're doing more stuff with the universe. I don't like that when they take one book of source material and expand it into a trilogy. That is completely unnecessary. They did that with The Hobbit. They're doing that with every movie that's coming out, like Hunger Games Part 1, Part 2, Twilight Part 6. Like, you have one book. Just stick with your one book. Do your 2-hour movie and then call it a day. You don't need to milk the franchise just to get more dollars. So, other than that, whenever it comes out, I'll see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing in regards to that is I've noticed that sometimes when they do the Part 1s, Part 2s to some movies, it's only like an hour long, an hour and a half long, instead of the 2 hours or even the 3 hours that it could be. And so it really breaks up a lot of it. I kind of agree with not Twilight. I hate Twilight. With the Hunger Games. I mean, is there really all that much information that you can't put into 2.5, 3 hours that you got to split it up into two movies? I mean, you did it okay with the first two, With The Hobbit, though, that's a little bit different because personally, I really like that whole world, and I thought it was awesome how Peter wanted to make it even bigger and try to have a way to link it all. I thought that was cool.
The Hobbit is one book.
I know that, but I thought...
That is less than the smallest Lord of the Rings movie book.
Alright.
So,
didn't they shoehorn in Legolas in there?
then they just... here's characters that weren't even in the book.
Here
you go.
Alright, well...
No, that was completely unnecessary. They could have got away with doing 2, I understand that, but squeezing in 3 at the last second, he just wanted more money.
Okay.
His giant money treehouse.
Okay. That's funny. Okay. Alright, Tom, what about you?
What's a Harry Potter? The snake thing, yeah, Slytherin or whatever. Yeah, let's go with them. The one that everybody hates or something.
Get out! Get out right now!
Okay.
No, stay in the show.
It's like I do respect the fact that they're fleshing out the universe and all that. That's cool, but I'm not that big of a fan, so I really have no comment on that. So, sorry.
This show is supposed to be totally a fan. You guys are totally not
Totally
fans.
a fan of what
You
I
guys
like.
are totally not fans. Okay,
I'm
well.
sorry. What's a Harry Potter?
All right. Well, I'm super excited for the show, or sorry, for the movie. Leo, I know you're not a Harry Potter fan either, but do you have any input on what's going on with the movies?
Yeah, I really liked when Darth Vader was telling Luke Skywalker that he was his father, and it was like mind blowing. It's crazy.
I heard that was ad-lib, by the
Freaking
way.
That
nuts.
was
It was
that,
nuts.
That was insane. Dude.
Brought a tear to my eye, and then Voldemort came and was all like, spell Dramus.
Dreidel. Dreidel.
No, I don't know anything about Harry Potter. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right. Well. All right. Well, since they don't know anything, what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know. Also, if you guys would like, post down what house you guys come from. If you guys were going to Hogwarts, I definitely would like to know. I want to see who else out there is a Badger for life.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You're the only one.
That's why it's Badger. Singular.
I'm the only Hufflepuff apparently. All right, so we did get a fan question, and it's actually, I think it's a really good question. Miss Lady DKJ from Twitter, she asks, who have you totally geeked out over fan-wise? Leo, we'll start with you. Who's the last person you've geeked out over fan-wise?
You mean like nerd fandom?
Yeah.
When was your last nerdgasm?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it.
You know, we did go to something very recently.
Oh, yeah, right. We went to
so-
the Pokemon Symphony Orchestra, and that was cool.
Pikachu?
The game director, the game director of Pokemon was there. He was there from the very beginning, before Game Freak even started on Pokemon, and he was there conducting stuff, and it was. Vidya and I were yelling Japanese words at him. It was like he was responding to us, so it was kind of cool.
I like how Leo and I yelled good luck, and then he stops and he kind of looks in our general direction. I'm pretty sure he couldn't see us specifically, but he
No,
looked
man, he
around-
saw me.
Oh, he saw
eye
you?
to eye.
So he
We
saw
had
Leo.
connection.
The eyes
Connected.
met.
And then
Destiny.
and then he looks over to his translator. He's like, I didn't expect somebody to speak Japanese here. And so we were like, yeah. We'll continue on with the other guys. Tommy, let's start with Tommy.
That's a good question. The last thing I nerdgasmed over.
Or last person, rather.
Oh, it's a person now. Oh, man.
Yeah, it says who have you totally geeked out over fan wise. I think Miss Lady DKJ, I think she deserves to know who rather than what.
A fictional character is also an option.
Yes,
Fictional
technically yes, because
Got
it's a
any
who.
waifus?
Oh, I've got all the waifus, Jesse. Yeah, there we go. God damn it. If I had to choose one,
You can pass.
I can pass.
Yes. Because I don't have an answer either. I'm going to pass.
Really, nobody. I mean,
I don't
can
go
always.
to cons. I don't go to. I mean, I've never met anyone that's. I would.
What
say
about
worthy
news? What about
fan guest.
news-wise? What about news-wise? Something you
I mean,
may have read in news that
news-wise,
you're like,
probably. I think. Going back to Smash when they actually released the Pac-Man trailer, because everyone knew Pac-Man to be in the game, but I think everyone was worried that he'd be that new kind of Pac-Man in the Ghost Adventures, like the one where he has actual eyeballs and fingers, like the new design
Freaking
Pac-Man.
Nike shoes.
Yeah, the Nike shoes. I think
Jesus.
when they revealed it's literally like 80s Pac-Man, I think
It's like on the
Oh, I
note, I
understand.
did actually get excited for hearing that Little Mac was going to be in Smash too. It's like I do look forward to checking out Little Mac.
Oh yeah.
all right, so Smash Bros. That seems to be the biggest theme today.
I,
well,
I actually went nuts when Pac-Man was announced too.
I know, right?
I'm pretty sure a lot of other people did.
Remember
too.
we were on Skype and I was like, no way!
Yeah, I remember
no
that.
freaking
I
way!
remember that. Yeah. All right. Well, one thing before I say who I've recently geeked over, I'm usually on Twitter a lot because for me it's easier to get to a bunch of the celebrities and stuff like that, find out whatever they're going over, directors, actors, etc. And so anytime I get a retweet or I get a favorite, I geek out.
Oh my God, Mark Ruffalo retweeted me.
Every time, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so a while back, a show, and I think I talked about it on the show in an earlier episode, but Sullivan and Sons on TBS was released. Steven, I think his name is Brian.
Spielberg.
No, it's Stephen Bryant.
You sure?
I can't remember. I'm gonna say Stephen
Sure
Bryant.
it's not Steven Seagal?
Yeah, he's the main character in that show, and he not recently, but he followed me and he retweets my stuff all the time.
Lord.
Yeah, it's one of those moments. But
Oh
most
my
recently, it was the last week where we talked about the death of Superman Lives.
Yeah.
The director John Schnepp and I guess the movie itself has its own Twitter page with the producers where they're constantly on it. They've been following me. They've been giving me some info. They've been retweeting my stuff. They've been sharing my stuff, and I've been geeking out over that. The last bit of things, or the last bit I would need to like be fully geeked out on that is for the director John Schnepp himself to follow me on Twitter. But for the most part, I don't know. It's weird. It's always fun whenever you get a retweet or anything like that. So celebs, man, celebs. Alrighty guys, so that's it for TotallyAFan. I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. I want to thank Tom, Jesse, Leo. Thank you guys for coming on the show, or rather, thanks for letting us host it here. So, what are you guys' thoughts on anything we talked about today? If you guys have any questions or any specific topics you guys want to talk about, let me know. Just go ahead and mail it, book it, tweet it, or post a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and until then, we'll see you.